nerds? Today I want to talk about one of the PlayStation Plus games for July 2019, and that is Detroit Become Human. Now, just get some extra stuff out of the way, just everything that is included with the download, because there was actually more than I expected. You actually get the soundtrack, you get like the art concepts, and you get a theme, and Heavy Rain, which is a game that was created/developed by the same company, and I will be talking about that game in a little bit after the main attraction, which is Detroit Become Human. So, Detroit Become Human is a fairly basic game. So there are simple gameplay mechanics that you have to employ to be able to work your way through the level. It's anything from just walking around, kind of observing your environment, taking a look at different things, and then acting accordingly through either quick time events or simple actions with your joystick, moving it to the side, moving it up, down, and kind of do a little loop thing. Either way, regardless, that is essentially all of the gameplay. Now, obviously, there's more to it. So, observing your environment unlocks different options, whether it's through dialogue or different options for quick time events or anything like that. For instance, like if you're going through a room and you're trying to escape, there are different options that you can choose. If you see that there's an open window before the chase scene happens, you can choose that. Or if you see, if there's like an open doorway or a locked door, if you observe all of that, the options that you have available to you when something else happens in that specified level, it unlocks more of the options to allow it to happen. And then again, just working your way through the level. So far, there hasn't really been too many action pieces outside of just quick time events, which may turn some of you off, but these quick time events are so far have been pretty simple. I have it set on a lower difficulty because whenever there's a timed button like thing like that, like any sort of time event, I always panic and then I always end up hitting the wrong button, which either results in me dead or just a different outcome than I wanted to happen. Regardless, that is essentially all of the gameplay, and then like I said, there are decisions that you can make and how you interact with the world and all that stuff. And so with those quick time events and just different options that you have within the level, that leads to different outcomes at the end of the level, potentially. And then thus different outcomes at the very end of the game, like in terms of like who lives and who dies. The different outcomes that happen at the end of each level ultimately affect the outcomes at the end of the game. Like which outcome you get depends, I would assume, on who lives and who dies and all that good stuff. And then at the end of every level, they actually give you a decision tree showing all the decisions laid out for you visually, so you can see what path you took and you can see how many different endings are there. It doesn't tell you what those endings are, but it does show them there and kind of the path to get there. So this ultimately adds a lot of replay value to the game. If you are sucked in by the story at all, like I am, I will definitely be going back and replaying it. So now for visuals. Visually, the game is very appealing. This is top of the line. I would like to see it on a high-end gaming PC because I would like to see what it looks like in its highest quality possible. Not that PS4 can't do it, but just generally, PC has the best quality, usually, depending on how it's developed. But besides the point, everything is visually stunning, all the characters are unique and different. I don't think I've seen like even an NPC that looks similar to one another, but I mean that could just be missing that. But in terms of the main characters, each one is distinct, different visually and in terms of personality, and I am in love with the visuals that it presents. Plus, one thing that I really do like about the game, it, as far as I could tell, is actually set in Detroit. Now, with my experience of Detroit, I've been looking out for signposts and like street names to see if I could identify anything from there. There is one specific place in Detroit, I believe it's called Jefferson Square, that was present in the game, so I am very excited about that. But other than that, I can't necessarily pinpoint any specific streets that I recognize or anything like that. And last, in terms of story, I am loving it so far. Just for full transparency, I have actually not completed the game yet, just because there's a lot of scenarios to go through and I had a lot of different stuff going on, and I could make excuses all day, but that is beside the point. but I am hooked personally. What I can tell is that you follow 3 different main characters, all of them androids, and you live in a slightly futuristic world. It's a lot of androids and a lot of humans, and the overarching story is how they interact with each other. And the reaction is the androids are, I would almost say, subservient to the humans, but there are obviously issues with that. Kind of think of iRobot with Will Smith, only everyone hates the robots, not just Will Smith. But regardless, how the androids interact with the humans and how the humans interact with them, I find that very fascinating, and I love the way that these developers put that kind of time and care into telling a amazing story so far about the interaction and how this world could potentially work in the future. I am invested in all of the main characters. I don't know what the So, sorry for the random cutover. I was trying to really beat the battery, but it died before I could finish the video. Either way, so the last thing that I want to talk about was the other free game that came with Detroit Become Human, and it was called Heavy Rain. Now, I haven't played much of it, but essentially it is the same basic concept. You work your way through a level, different events, quick time events that you have to do, exploring your environment to see what options you have to do certain things, and that is essentially it. The only difference between Heavy Rain and Detroit Become Human is that Heavy Rain is shaping up to be much darker than Detroit Become Human, unless I haven't made it far enough in Detroit Become Human to really see that. But what it's hinting at is that there is someone called the Origami Killer. Now, and essentially what he does is he kidnaps kids and then eventually kills them, and that sounds pretty dark to me. So I don't know if I'm gonna be finish playing it or not. It's older, so that kind of turns me off, and some of the mechanics are a bit more clunky and not as well polished as Detroit Become Human. But if that is interesting to you, you can definitely still check it out. It is free with Detroit Become Human. And with that being said, all I can really say about the game is that the gameplay is simple and intuitive. It's visually appealing and just stunning in terms of its graphics. The storyline will hook you in. If you love story-driven games, this is the perfect game for you. And yeah, and you get a free game with it anyways if you want to try that out. So there's really no reason to not download it this month if you get it for free anyway, and I would highly recommend that you do actually download it. With that being said, if you have any comments, questions, anything else, feel free to hit me up down in the comment section down below. I will be down there answering questions and anything else that you have for me. If you like this video, remember to hit that thumbs up button, and also remember to ring that bell and also subscribe so you will know that I post new videos and stream and all that good stuff. I'm also on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Feel free to hit me up there, like, comment, follow, subscribe, tweet, Instagram? I don't know. Either way, it'll either be my face or the 3G Geek logo on all those social media platforms as well. Feel free to hit me up. I kind of post more casual videos there, just kind of like quick 1-minute things or random pictures every once in a while. And with that being said, this is 3G Geek, signing off.